Welcome back to Fearfull Horror Stories. Tonight, I'll tell you a terrifying tale that will make you question your own reflection in the dark. Remember to keep the lights on, because once the crying starts, it may already be too late. It was almost midnight when Clara first heard it. The faint sound of crying. At first, she thought it was coming from outside her bedroom window. A child's voice, thin and trembling, drifting to the cold November air. She pressed her ear closer to the glass, her breath fogging it up, but the sound wasn't coming from outside. It was coming from below, from the basement. Her house was old, built in the early 1900s. It had wooden beams that creaked with every gust of wind. Clara had inherited it from her grandmother, who had passed away only 3 months ago. She was still getting used to its strange noises, its groaning pipes, its shifting floors. But crying? That was new. At first, she ignored it. She pulled the covers tighter around her and told herself she was just imagining things. She had been stressed, after all, juggling her job, dealing with grief, moving into a house that still smelled faintly of mothballs and lavender. Maybe her mind was playing tricks on her. But the crying came again the next night. Louder this time, and unmistakably coming from the basement. Clara lay frozen in bed, her heart pounding. She wanted to believe it was a neighbor's child, but the walls of her house were thick, and the sound, it wasn't muffled. It was sharp, clear, as if someone were weeping directly beneath her floorboards. She didn't sleep that night. On the third night, she gathered enough courage to go down. She grabbed a flashlight and tiptoed through the dark hallway. The air grew colder with every step she took toward the basement door. Her hand trembled as she reached for the doorknob. It was ice cold, as though the chill from below had seeped through the wood. She pulled the door open. The crying stopped. For a moment, she just stood there, staring into the yawning blackness of the basement. Her flashlight flickered to life, casting thin beams of light across the steps. She slowly descended, her heart hammering against her ribs. The basement was empty. Boxes stacked against the wall, an old workbench, dusty jars filled with nails and screws. Nothing out of the ordinary. No sign of anyone or anything that could have been crying. Clara exhaled shakily and shook her head. She was imagining it. She had to be. But as she turned to climb back upstairs, she swore she heard something else. A whisper, low, familiar, her own voice. "Help me?" Clara froze. The sound had come from the far corner of the basement, where the shadows seemed unnaturally thick. She raised her flashlight toward it, but the beam seemed to dissolve in the darkness, unable to reach whatever was lurking there. Her pulse roared in her ears. She backed up the stairs, slammed the door shut, and locked it. That night, she didn't sleep at all. The next morning, Clara tried to convince herself it was stress-induced auditory hallucinations. She even Googled it, hearing voices while grieving. It made sense. She'd been through a lot. The mind could do strange things under pressure. But the crying continued. Every night, just before midnight. Always from the basement. On the 7th night, Clara decided she needed proof. She set up her phone to record audio by the basement door. When she checked the recording the next morning, her blood ran cold. It wasn't just crying on the tape. It was her voice, sobbing, begging, "Don't leave me here. Please don't leave me." Clara dropped the phone, her hand shaking. She had no memory of ever saying those words. No reason why her own voice should be echoing from beneath her home. Things only escalated from there. The next night, she woke up to find muddy footprints leading from the basement door to her bedroom. The prints were small, child-sized, but she lived.